Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am so happy today to be joined by our two Pennsylvania Amicable Ambassadors, Joanne Kleiner and Kathy Bloom. These two professionals are in the Philadelphia area and are definitely approaching divorce and all family law matters with a resolution focus. And so I'm so happy to introduce them to you today. Thank you for joining me, Joanne and Kathy. We're so happy to have you on the Amicable Divorce Network team.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you we're very happy to be here and very happy to be part of this.
And so what many people have a misconception about, I think, is that divorce attorneys and divorce in general needs to be this litigated bloodbath. But of course, at the Amicable Divorce Network, we're very passionate about parties solving things outside the court system. And you guys are as well and have been practicing that way for a while. Isn't that correct?
Sure. We're very dedicated to keeping people out of court.
Absolutely.
And so prior to Amicable Divorce Network coming along, how did you guys do it?
We have several techniques that we use, including collaborative. We are both collaboratively trained, but we also have some things that we've kind of invented, called kitchen table divorces or just cooperative divorces. And we really strive to keep people out of court because we think it's so important for family law cases.
What are the benefits that people should realize about settling their matter outside of court as opposed to having that knockdown, drag out fight in the court system?
So there's really a ton of benefits, but just to give you a few, first of all, the financial benefit, I think, is without question. Litigation is extremely expensive in terms of dollars and cents. It's also extremely expensive in terms of the emotional energy that's expended, the bad feelings that it generates and that linger on way after the case is over. Another factor is that when you settle your own case, you have a lot more flexibility. If you're going before a judge, you give up your ability to be the decision maker, and the judge is bound by the strict letter of the law. When you are able to come up with your own agreement, you can basically do anything that you want and put in anything that you want. So it gives you a lot more flexibility and a lot more room for creativity.
And nobody knows your case like you do. I mean, I've been doing this for 21 years and I can say with confidence, like no matter how much time an attorney is given to explain a case, the judge will never understand that family as well as that family does to make decisions for themselves.
It's true. Even the most conscientious judge, and especially if you're talking about issues involving children, nobody knows better than you what's best for your family and your children.
Yeah.
And
so people, sorry, Tracy.
No, go ahead.
I always ask people, do you want to make your own decisions about this case together? Or do you want a stranger to make the decisions for you, for your family, for your children? And inevitably people say, I would like to be able to make the decisions myself.
So in addition to like a kitchen table agreement where the parties would sit down themselves and try to come up with an agreement, tell us about amicable divorce and how you guys use some different processes to help people who may feel like maybe they can't sit down at the table together to reach that agreement.
We're also mediators. Both are mediators. So we are highly trained. We've taken lots and lots of courses in mediation and other areas of alternative dispute resolution. So we can help people by using those tools. And it does seem to work. Right, Joanne? I mean,
yeah, and I think the starting point is knowing that there's a commitment to stay out of court. When everybody can agree on that and know that that's what you're going to be doing, it makes it easier to get past rough spots. You don't have to worry that people are going to threaten, I'm going to drag you to court and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. It makes it much easier to deal with people in good faith and just to sit down and really try and reach a resolution that'll make everybody happy.
We try to stay away from positions too, because positions are things that people get locked into. It's called anchoring. They feel that that's what they have to do. And the position is not necessarily going to get them what they want. So we think more in terms of goals and interests instead of positions. And I think that's one of the things that helps us to be able to help our clients.
Yeah, I think it's really good. And it's great for people to understand that there are really well-intentioned professionals out there. One of the questions I get a lot as a professional or as a founder of the network is, as an attorney, why would you engage in this process? Why would you do it when you earn less money? And so do you guys want to speak to that? Like, knowing you're going to get less money per case when people settle out of court, why would you do it?
Because it's better for the people that we're serving, and it's actually less wear and tear on us.
Yeah.
You know, most attorneys don't really enjoy going to court and watching families being ripped apart, particularly custody cases. When I do custody mediations, I tell the people that the ugliest days I've seen in court are watching kids waiting to talk to a judge.
And they remember that forever.
Yes, forever. And it scars them forever. So when you feel as though you're contributing to helping a family move forward in a constructive way, you can't really put a price on that.
Right.
I mean, that may sound a little bit Pollyanna-ish, but you really can't. It makes it easier for us to sleep at night too.
Yeah.
It's the right thing to do. I mean, that sounds a little Pollyanna-ish too, but it really is the right thing to do. And we believe in this, and not only for the client's sake, but for our own sakes and our own families, because it's a much better way to practice. Our mental health is important. Mental health of our clients is important, and also our mental health is important. And doing this is a much better way to practice.
I think many people in our field, whether it's family law attorneys, mediators, mental health professionals, chose that job because they wanted to help people, you know, and I think many of us over time see that the court system doesn't help people. They really have to sling mud at one another. And so when you're really able to help a family get to that next stage through this difficult transition without ripping each other apart, that's probably why we got into family law to begin with. And so it's really nice to actually be able to deliver on that and not get engaged in that really destructive litigation. Joanne, I know you're passionate about helping children with special needs and their families through the divorce process. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, I actually have a daughter with pretty profound disabilities. So I'm really kind of tuned in to what those families need. And if anybody should stay out of court, it would be families with a child with special needs. I could talk about that for half an hour and give you so many.
We'll do that another day.
Why? But just to be a little shorter about it, the thing is that when you have a child with special needs, you really need to be able to work together. More than parents even of normal children, you really need to be able to work together. And just because that child reaches 18 years old or 20 years old, you are a lifelong advocate for that child. And there are things that you have to do throughout their lives. And you can't do that if you've been through an ugly custody fight. And if you're talking about programs and therapies and things like that, how can you possibly do that if you're butting heads and you're working against each other rather than working together? I just can't imagine any family with a child with special needs benefiting from going to court. It's more important for them above everybody else to be able to preserve that ability to work together.
The nice thing about amicable divorce, too, to piggyback on what Joanne just said, is that we can bring in all the people that we need to help us with these situations. So in the case of a special needs child or a special needs adult that's still dependent on his or her parents, we can bring in specialists to help us with this, whether it's psychologists or people who do special needs trusts or financial people. We can bring them into the process, and that helps us, and it helps us to help them. And it also keeps the cost down for them too.
Yes.
I frequently bring in special needs financial planners because they have specialized knowledge of things like governmental benefits, Social Security, that even most lawyers don't know, and judges don't know. And judges, if they're going to write an order, they can't necessarily write an order taking into account a way to maximize governmental benefits for a child. And that's vital. It's absolutely vital. So you have to be able to know how to do that.
Yes. It's a very nuanced area. And one thing with the Amicable Divorce Network is that the process is designed for the parties. And so when we're working with families that have a special needs child, we are able to get creative with who's on that team and also that timeline. You know, we can, it can, you know, the court would never let you just hit the pause on your divorce case because your child needs assistance. When we can do that with Amicable, we can go as fast or as slow as parties want and need for their family. So I think that's particularly important for families with special needs children. So thank you so much to Joanne and Kathy. If you are interested in having an amicable divorce and you live in Pennsylvania, particularly the greater Philadelphia area, reach out to them. They are vetted professionals, which means that they have been vetted for being experienced, engaging in fair billing practices, and also having a resolution focus to their entire legal practice. And so they are two great attorneys to pair with, and we're so happy to have them as the Amicable Ambassadors for the Philadelphia area. So thank you so much, Joanne and Kathy.
Thank you, Tracy.